I don't know if you guys have heard of this, Kid's Guide to President Trump.
Hey parents and grandparents, as we wait to see what's next for President Trump, Mike Huckabee's education company wants to help your kids learn all about President Trump's greatest achievements during his first term. That's why we're giving away the Kid's Guide to President Trump for free. This fun Kid's Guide will help your kids to understand everything President Trump has already accomplished for America. What's more, it's part of a very special gift bundle that includes a free kids magazine and a free video lesson too. To learn more and order this free gift bundle, just visit freetrumpguide.com. That's freetrumpguide.com.
Well, I did it. I decided to go there and check it out, and I got a copy of it, although I definitely went to this website, so this is for sure from them, but it is not what I expected it to be. Let me just pull it up. Okay, this is the guide, the Kid's Guide to Growing Up Trump. We got a couple of good Aryan children behind him, right? God, dude. Yeah, they got his classic hugging the flag pose. Like, I don't know how he still puts this out there. It's like enraging to some people, right? Anyway, I want to read through some of this. Hold on. I mean, I'm pretty confident I got it from the right place. Not only did I get that one, but I actually spent like lots and lots of money on getting all of the kids' guides, including, hold on, let me open it, the Kid's Guide to Leadership. So I guess Huckabee does like all of these kids guide things, and they all have different themes, and they're super like ultra nationalistic nonsense. Anyway, let's take a look at the Trump one, shall we? See what we got here. Okay, what do we got here? Did you know that Donald Trump's dad was his primary influence in life? Find out why on pages 6 and 7. As a teen, Donald Trump attended a military academy and grew to love the discipline and responsibility there. A world-famous clergyman and author helped Donald Trump with his faith and optimism. Learn about Trump's optimism on pages 12 and 13. Oh my God, dude. This is designed for children, okay? It's a full-blown propaganda guide for children. That is nuts. Trump combined all of his life experiences to create a unique formula for success. What it can do for you in America, from pages 14 to 17. Yeah, I'll tell you what his formula to success was. Little known fact, I had to go to Trump University to learn this myself, but the answer to all of life's questions is get millions of dollars given to you by your dad. That's the real formula to success. Donald J. Trump may be one of the most famous people in the world. You likely know him as a successful real estate mogul who created and built famously exclusive resorts, hotels, and golf courses all over the world. You also know him as America's 45th president and leader of the MAGA, or Make America Great Again movement. I'm assuming that this is like for parents and grandparents to like sit here and read to the children, because this is a little bit too advanced for like 5. 10 is still a little too advanced, honestly. 12 is getting a little closer to reasonable. So that, you know, the parents probably just going to sit there and read this to their children. Like, oh my God, dude. To his friends and critics alike, Trump is famous for being a tough negotiator who speaks his mind and gets things done. No. A quick look at his long and successful career reveals a man who overcomes obstacles and never gives up. Even after brutal attacks on his character, Trump keeps coming and seems to get stronger and stronger. God, can you put a bigger puff in his petticoat? His story is a fascinating adventure of opportunity, successes. I'm looking real close to see if there are any misspellings. That's why I'm going a little slow. Opportunities, successes, and overcoming obstacles that reveal a determined fighter and a man who is driven to succeed, and most of all, make the country he loves safer, stronger, and more prosperous. With all he's done, been through, and overcome, you might wonder what makes Trump and what makes Trump tick and what he was like growing up. Maybe you're asking yourself if there are lessons and discoveries from President Trump's life that can help you build your dreams. Here is your chance to find out. Grow up with President Trump and learn some of his most valuable lessons for creating a life of greatness and opportunity. Oh boy. Oh my God, dude. You know, in like, I don't know, 50 years, this picture, this is actually Donald Trump as a baby. In 50 years, we're going to see this in memes next to the words, would you kill baby Trump? Like, would you kill baby Hitler? People are going to be asking that, just about guaranteed. Trump's dad, Frederick. You know, Trump's dad's middle name is Christ. No fucking joke. It really, really is. It's German. It's a common surname in Germany, to my understanding. I think it's pronounced Christ, something to that effect. Frederick Trump Sr., was there a junior? Was there a Fred Trump Jr. I was unaware of? Was a successful real estate developer who owned and managed residential properties across Brooklyn, Queens, and Staten Island. He was big on teaching his kids about responsibility and work ethic, or the drive to do jobs right and succeed. Are you f***ing serious right now? You think that Donald Trump learned to do jobs right and succeed? Do we need to go down this road? Trump is notorious for hiring people to do the job, paying half up front because that's, standard in construction business or software or whatever. And then the other half when the job is done. And then just not paying them the other half. And these companies go under trying to sue him for all of the money that he owes them. And he may have to pay it eventually after they spend $100,000 in lawyers' fees and they're already bankrupt. And if they're bankrupt, they're just not getting their money, right? So even better for Donald. That's the type of he does. So what's all this about good work ethic and doing the job right and succeeding? Yeah, if you think that success is getting millions of dollars from your dad, then yeah, I suppose Donald Trump learned to succeed. Fred Trump often brought his kids to his construction sites, teaching them about building things, the work involved, and what it took to win at business. I don't know where it is, but there's some clip of Don Jr. basically saying that his dad used to take him to work sites and he used to do welding. And he was miming a completely different task than what he was saying he was doing. And it's like, everybody knows that you did not do that, okay? Donald Trump does not get down there and do welding. Why the fuck would he be down there? He's the landowner, okay? He is literally, his entire job in this system that we exist in is to leech money off of people that are actually putting in labor. Whether you're a capitalist or whatever, you cannot frame it any differently than that. That's what's happening. Landlords are just leeching money off of people that are actually working. They're making money because they have money. Anyway, let's keep reading. Wait, what did this say? Mary Trump taught her children about Christian values and sent the kids to Sunday school at First Presbyterian Church in Jamaica, Queens. When Donald Trump was just 9, she gave him a Bible as a gift. Sadly, she became ill and partly disabled when Trump was still very young. I say this without a hint of irony. I really honestly believe that these pictures that we're looking at right now will basically be like looking at Hitler's parents and Hitler's baby pictures and everything around the world. Not in the US necessarily, I don't know. But the world has that opinion of Donald Trump. Whether you like the dude or hate the dude, the world views him as Hitler. As a kid, much of what makes you who you are is where you grew up. This includes the local culture, the attitude, and your early friends and neighbors. With its hard work ethic and tough attitude, New York can be a challenging place to grow up. No, it can't. What are you talking about? New York is not a hard place to grow up. Okay, my kid grew up in New York City. In Manhattan, went to middle and high school in Manhattan. And it was the best time ever. You've got public transport. You can take the subway anytime, anywhere. You're always within walking distance, whatever the fuck you want. You can go to your friend's house anytime you want because you don't have to have a parent drive you around and all of that other. And the culture is just out of this world. There are little subsections of the city for everything. You're an anime fan? There's a subsection of the city for anime fans. You only speak Chinese? No problem. There's a whole little, 10 by 10 grid of blocks that only speak Chinese. New York City is awesome. There's nothing tough or difficult about growing up in New York City. I know from firsthand experience. And certainly not about Donald Trump's New York City. You think he was growing up in Harlem? He was growing up in Jamaica, Queens, okay? It's a suburban area with mansions everywhere. I don't want to hear it about him suffering. What a fucking joke, dude. It was Jamaica Estates, not any friggin' way to be confused with the rest of Queens. Right. There's Jamaica, Queens. And Jamaica, Queens can be a rough area, but this is Jamaica Estates. That's a good point. This is a suburb of Queens. It looks just like any other, like, I don't know. You guys ever been to like Lincoln, Nebraska, Huntington, West Virginia, Minneapolis? It just looks like that. It isn't like, it's just sprawling. There isn't like a grid network set up or anything like that. Manhattan was planned in a like grid-like fashion, but it just kind of exploded out from there. So anyway, God, it's just like the history rewriting in this is wild. Okay, so New York can be a challenging place to grow up, they said. New Yorkers value their tools. I'm sorry. Wait, what's this say? Their roots. I'm sorry. Let me just zoom in on this puppy. New Yorkers value their roots and where they came from. All of this rubbed off on the young Donald Trump. The Trumps lived in a big house. No, they didn't. They lived in a big fucking mansion. Don't call it a house. Don't try to normalize him and make him just like every other guy. He's a filthy, rich scam artist. It was not a house. It was a mansion. But okay. The Trumps lived in a big house, and Donald's friends remember his extensive electric train set, which they would come over to play with. However, while the Trump family was very well off, Donald's dad always reminded his son of the hard work, sacrifice, and dedication it took to build this New York dream. Such a joke, dude. Donald Trump said his father was a good builder. I learned so much from him. No, he wasn't. He wasn't a builder. What are you talking about? Who the told you that? He was not a builder. He was a fucking landowner, okay? He was the guy that sucks the resources out of everything he fucking touches because he has so much money. And Donald Trump learned from the best. Again, like, if you're a landlord, that's okay with me. I don't have a problem with landlords. I'm just saying, if you're earning money as a landlord, understand it for what it is. It's it's a necessary component to this society that we live in, but you're leeching off of people. That's it. What is money? It's a representation of labor. And what is labor? It is time devoted to a task that could have been given to some other thing. How many hours of your life do you have? So let's say we live to 80 years old, right? 365 days in a year. And we got 24 hours in a day. 1/3 of that is spent sleeping, at least. So that leaves us with 467,000 hours total to spend with family, to experience life, to learn new hobbies or skills or whatever. That's our life. 500,000 hours. That's it. Total. And that's counting from birth. And, another third of our lives goes to labor. So that's 250,000 hours, give or take, if you're lucky. 250,000 hours go to an employer. You're giving those hours to somebody else that you could have given to your family or yourself or whatever. And you are compensated with money. So money is a representation of those hours of your life that you'll never have back. What is a landlord doing? What does his money represent? Nothing. It represents nothing. It represents more money. His money is not a representation of labor. But, I'm giving, say, 100,000 hours to this one employer. Say I work at Burger King full-time for 15 years. I don't know how many, hours that is. Say I work at Burger King for 15 years, and I give them 100,000 hours of my life that I'm never going to get back. And they give me money for that I then give to a landlord who only gets that money because he had money in the first place. The point is that landlords are leeches in this equation. Again, they're necessary. I'm okay with being a landlord. I'd be one for sure. But they're leeches. He didn't work hard, okay? A good builder. No, he wasn't. He was not a builder. He was a leech. Like Donald Trump. A lovely guy. I love my father. Yeah, I bet. Made the most of his childhood with a big city attitude. Like many tough but friendly New Yorkers, young Donald Trump also had a New York City attitude. His friends described the young Trump as a prankster and practical joker. They say he was loud and brash and liked to speak his mind and trash talk. Though, as his friends also pointed out, he did so in a fun way and to test what others were made of. They can't say a bad word about this guy, can they? He was a shithead. Just say it. He was a shithead. He was a shithead when he was younger, and nobody liked being around him because he was like that. Right? God, this is like astronomical levels of reframing. Also, you know what I heard about him? From Jeffrey Epstein, who spoke about his friendship with Trump on multiple occasions, and the people that knew both Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump. They said he liked to pay the people that he knew to let him sleep with their wives in front of him. Seriously. And that should tell you everything you need to know about the dude's personality. Anyway, Trump's childhood friends say that Donald Trump's trademark smile is the same as when he was a little boy. Aww. Donald Trump's childhood friends also point out that his attitude occasionally landed him in hot water, as young Donald Trump liked to test the rules. This created, again, you just call him a dickhead. Everybody knows that's what you're saying. Unfortunately, like the 10-year-olds reading this don't. This created some real tension at home, as Fred Trump was a strict dad who did not tolerate foul language or mischief. Okay? His incredible work ethic, quote-unquote, started young. The people who know Donald Trump best marvel at his work ethic. In fact, seeing all of his rallies and constant appearances, most people wonder how President Trump does it. The answer is simple. He's had a work ethic since he was very young, a drive and ambition he got from his dad. All right, let me tell you a little secret about work ethic. I was hooked on drugs for a while there in Huntington, West Virginia, and I got clean after a couple of years. But during that period of time, I found that I was very young. I found that, working at Burger King or Lowe's or wherever, seeing that building one more fucking time made me want to claw my own eyes out. I didn't want to show up there. I didn't want to deal with any of the fucking people there. I didn't want to take orders through the drive-through window. I didn't want to make sandwiches. I didn't want to carry gigantic fucking bags of mulch over and throw it in somebody's truck. I just didn't want it. I would rather chew through my own legs so that I would have an excuse to not get in the fucking car and hit the gas pedal. And I thought to myself, is there something wrong with my work ethic? Why am I like this? I feel like, it feels like there's something wrong. And then I got into YouTube, which is something that I actually like doing. And I work my nuts off like you guys wouldn't believe. I work sometimes 80 hours a week or more. There is no work-life balance. It just blurs together because I love doing it. Having a good work ethic is easy when you love doing something. But again, I say, what is it that Trump does exactly, specifically? He owns money. That's what he does. That's how he earns money. He owns it. He's a landlord. He's a leech. He's not putting in labor. What work ethic? What is he working for? Somebody walk in and you sign a piece of paper and you're done? That's it? That's not working. To Fred Trump, if there was work to be done, you did it. Well, because if you didn't, somebody else would take that work, success, and money from you. They're trying to create little worker drones that will do whatever they're told obediently. And they're trying to create the ones that will not chew through their own fucking legs so they don't have to get in the car to go to that place one more day of their lives. That's what they're trying to do. In my personal opinion, the jobs that pay the most should be the ones that are the most miserable to do. I worked at IHOP right across the street from Burger King after I left Burger King. And I worked there with a 70-year-old dishwasher. Dude was 70, washing dishes, bussing tables. What the f***? That was an absolutely miserable job, and it should pay out the wazoo because of how miserable it is. I gotta tell you, if they would pay me $200,000 a year to bus tables, I would do it all day, every day, and I would do it with a fucking smile on my face. But they don't pay you $200,000 a year. They pay you, at best, $18,000 a year. So anyway, yeah, I don't want to hear any of this bullshit about stealing money and working hard and all this from Donald Trump or his family. All right, I'm falling behind schedule. Let's continue on here. Young Donald Trump learned another inspiring lesson, that building new things could help bring communities together. Like he gives a fuck about bringing communities together? Okay. Oh, look, he's got war medals. Do you see these war medals? All right, let's see what it says. Fred Trump hoped the discipline of the school would channel Donald's energy in a positive manner. Like many teens, Trump struggled to navigate the difficult evolution from childhood to teenage years when his wilder side took hold and his testing the rules, troublemaking, and joking around increased. Things came to a head when Fred Trump discovered that his boy and classmate. Okay, I'm super confused by the wording on this. That his boy and classmate Peter Brandt were sneaking across the New York bridges into Manhattan. There, the teens would explore Central Park, sample food from street vendors, watch older teens playing basketball, and wander Times Square. Okay. None of this sat well with Fred Trump Sr., who enrolled his then 13-year-old son in the famous New York Military Academy for some West Point-style training. Are you shitting me? He said he was upset with Donald for sampling street vendors' food and watching teens play basketball? Is this a fucking joke? That's why he sent him to military school. Because he's watching people play basketball? Was he chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool and all, shooting some b-ball outside of the school? Is that what was happening? And that got him sent to military school. Okay. West Point style training. West Point. Okay. Something evolved in Donald Trump at the academy. He learned about discipline and leadership. It did not happen overnight. Trump's biographer wrote, at the military academy, for the first time in his life, someone slapped him in the face when he got out of line. Okay, so they're admitting that he's a head then, right? Learning discipline. Something evolved in Trump at the academy. He learned about discipline and leadership. It did not happen overnight. Oh yeah, this part where he had to be slapped to get him to stay in line. Okay. Young Donald Trump would come to love the military academy experience. It was competitive, and like his father's teaching, it required determination and excellence. Trump blossomed at the military academy, showing his skills as a gifted athlete. Yeah, the skills as a gifted athlete that he learned from watching kids play b-ball outside of the school. Was he one of the guys that was up to no good, started making trouble in the neighborhood? I'm sorry, that was in West Philadelphia, not in New York City. Donald Trump's lifelong optimism and faith. Okay, wow. Let's hear the lies they have to lay down about Trump's faith. We're coming to the end. Perfect. It's good timing. Trump has a great deal of experience in planning and building. This experience taught him that anything is possible and that building a skyscraper, a business, or life in general required a plan and belief that you can do it. No. He doesn't have experience in building or planning. Who the f told you that he knows how to plan building a skyscraper? He's got architects to do that for him. He's not planning any of that. He's signing a piece of paper that says, yes, I'll give you $400,000 to plan this, $200,000 upfront and $200,000 when you're done. And he's also just refusing to give him the other $200,000. Yeah, as somebody points out, he's so optimistic and so knowledgeable and so good at doing things that he went as far as to avoid the Vietnam War by claiming to have bone spurs. He was drafted, his birthday came up, and he got out of it. Why? Because he's filthy f***ing rich, that's why. But where did Trump develop his can-do and winning attitudes? Some, of course, came from his mom and dad, but some also came from the teachings of famous clergyman and author Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. Actually, I don't know who the f*** that is. I don't think I've ever heard that name. On Sundays, the Trumps would sometimes take their children into Manhattan to listen to Norman Vincent Peale's Power of Positive Thinking, quote-unquote, sermons at Marble Collegiate Church in Manhattan. Marble Collegiate Church. I don't know that. I know St. Patrick's Church. That's like a, where is that? That one, St. Patrick's is a Catholic church, I think. Marble Collegiate Church is... Oh, it's on the Lower East Side. Okay. No, it's in Midtown, looks like. Yeah. Right near the Empire State Building. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's pretty close to Times Square, actually. Reasonably close. Starting to get toward Lower Manhattan, but not quite there. It's on 30... It's on 5th Avenue and 29th Street, basically. Interesting. Just looking through. Those are all really beautiful, nice areas. Like, everybody in those areas is filthy fucking rich. And was 50 years ago, too. Peale's inspiring sermons were interconnected with a message of his internationally best-selling book, The Power of Positive Thinking. Peale stressed the lessons of the Bible and also suggested visualizing success, looking the part, and having a positive attitude. Well, those things are actually important. Visualizing it, having vision about how you're going to get there, dressing like you're successful, dressing like you're, wear a suit and things, that kind of changes something in the way that you see yourself, and having a positive attitude. Never giving up is very important, for sure. President Trump recalls how he loved Peele's thinking. In his 2016 book, Great Again, he wrote of Peele. Wait, Trump wrote a book in 2016? I mean, obviously he didn't write a book, but Trump had a book ghost written called Great Again in 2016. I didn't know that. He would instill a very positive feeling about God that also made me feel positive about myself. I would literally leave that church feeling like I could listen to another 3 sermons. Oh, I bet. Totally. 100%. Yeah, at this point in time, 2016, he was pretty clearly trying to pander to evangelical nutcases, and it was working. Anybody that has any kind of position of power who is willing to pander to any given group that is just deeply immoral and willing to do whatever it takes to get power, they're gonna grab attention. They're gonna stick to you. You start appealing to Scientology, they're absolutely sticking to you, and they'll do whatever it takes to make you happy if you make them happy. You appeal to Christian nationalists, they will do whatever it takes to make you happy. President Trump credited Peele's positivity with helping him through life's rough spots, business failures, and tough times. Those all look like periods, not commas. Eventually, President Trump became so close to Dr. Peele that Peele officiated at his first marriage. His first marriage? Okay, who was number 2 and number 3, I wonder? Wasn't there a number? Is there a number 4? Is Melania number 4 or 3? I don't remember. I know that he slept with Melania for the first time on Epstein's jet. Is that how he met Melania, was through Epstein? Did he meet his wife before that through Epstein, I'm wondering? Did Epstein officiate a wedding for him? Peele officiated at his first marriage and at the funeral services for both of his parents. Wow, interesting. I thought Paula White was his, go-to fella. Paula White is his spiritual advisor. So I'm not sure, like, he's been tying himself to her and claiming that he's been going to her services for, like, ever when he hasn't. That's kind of odd that he's now, yeah, I don't know. Did he commission this book? I doubt it. He probably signed off and said, yeah, you can write about me if you want. I'm wondering why Huckabee specifically decided to go this route. I mean, is Huckabee even the one responsible for this book? I doubt it. He probably signed off too. He probably started a company or agreed to allow somebody to start a company in his name, who then wrote a bunch of propaganda on Trump's behalf. That's probably what happened, honestly. Quote, I think people are shocked when they find out that I'm a Christian, that I'm a religious person. Well, why would that be, Donald? Why do you think that is? That people are shocked or surprised that you're a Christian? Is there some reason people would think that was unusual or odd? Some kind of a behavioral quality that you perpetuate or that you exude that doesn't really, add up to Christian in people's minds? They're shocked that I'm a religious person. They see me with all the surroundings of wealth, so they sometimes won't associate that with being religious. That's not accurate. Yeah, this is just a subtle shout out, barely veiled shout out to prosperity gospel. It's okay to have wealth. In fact, Jesus loves the wealthy the most, and that's evidence that they're wealthy. What a just disgusting piece of propaganda, honestly. All right, we're so close to the end. I really want to hit the end of this. After graduating from the New York Military Academy, Donald Trump started to apply the lessons of his life. Started to apply the lessons of his life to building his future. He started his next journey at Fordham University in the Bronx. Yeah, Fordham University is at the end of the Metro-North Railroad, which lets off at 125th Street also, and Grand Central. Again, I lived there for a while. I just moved away from Manhattan, actually. During the 1960s, when most teens and young adults were getting involved in protesting and rebelling, oh boy, rebelling, you see that word? Rebelling against rules, young Donald Trump focused more on building the world he wanted to see and not complaining about the one he saw before him. Well, you know what protests Donald Trump was there to witness, right? It was race protests. It was protests against people being mistreated because they're black or whatever. Those are the protests, for real. Also, I guess the Vietnam protests. He chose not to, but again, this is about the world Trump wanted to see. So it's not about war protests. He set out to build the world he wanted to see. This is about civil rights protests. Seems clear as day to me. Oh my God, these people are just fucking vile, dude. Staying focused. Unlike the military academy, where Trump was very social, in college he buckled down and spent less time socializing and having fun. He also commuted to school so he could work with his father's company during his free time. He commuted to school? I don't understand what that has to do with working at his father's company. The teenage Trump was so focused on his career that his friends recall him coming to class in a three-piece suit and carrying a briefcase. What happened to being a builder? I thought he was a builder. What was all that stuff about, like, you know, masonry and welding and shit earlier? You gonna do welding in a three-piece suit? Dreaming big. Fellow students at Fordham remember President Trump doodling skyscrapers and apartment buildings in his notebooks. Again, this is all propaganda. I don't believe a word out of these pages. Maybe it's true. It's possible, but look it up elsewhere. This is like a low-stakes thing anyway. Who cares? Just don't trust it, is the point. Using the power of networking. Working with his dad on the weekends, Donald Trump learned more of the power of networking. Yeah, networking is everything, honestly. It's all about who you know. Fred Trump was skilled at getting along with many people, from local political leaders to business moguls and construction executives. These people's skills helped Fred Trump get building permits, financing, and tax breaks. And that's supposed to be honorable, getting tax breaks? The people you know help you get tax breaks? That's not how society's supposed to work. Are you serious? Quote, I always tell Donald, the elevator to success is out of order. Go one step at a time. But what do you think of what my Donald has put together? It boggles the mind. What? I'm sorry, this is a really poorly constructed sentence. I always tell Donald the elevator to success is out of order. Go one step at a time. That's good. That's good advice. But what do you think of what my Donald has put together? It boggles the mind. I don't understand how those things are connected to each other. Okay, we got one more page here. 5 important lessons from the life of Donald Trump. As you've read, the young Donald Trump absorbed many critical lessons and incorporated them into his plan for success. What's important to remember is that Donald Trump learned these lessons in multiple ways and from multiple people. Quote, now, this is in a speech bubble next to Donald Trump. Just before he became president, Donald Trump said he was a firm believer in the power of being positive. I refuse to give in to the negative circumstances and never lose faith in myself. Okay, whatever. 1, choose strong role models. Oh, and of course, Donald Trump is a great role model, right? That's what they're telling us here. From early on, Donald Trump modeled himself on the strong work ethic of his dad and the faith of his mom. Again, what fucking strong work ethic? The dude literally sits there and signs papers every day. At best. Again, he's a landlord, okay? He is doing nothing but taking in money for nothing. And the faith of his mom. You think Donald Trump is like a holy man? He might be our first atheist president, honestly. I would argue that he might be. Not that I like that, I'm just saying. 2, set goals. From a young age, Donald Trump wanted to be in real estate, build things, and provide jobs and opportunities for others. He focused on learning and made sure to pattern himself for the future, even dressing the part. Yeah, this little bit right here, build things and provide jobs and opportunities for others. This bothers me so much. I heard Cenk Uygur on TYT say that he's a job creator, basically, and he said he's got 75 families to feed, 75 mouths to feed, 75 employees. And it's like, to me, that is the wrong way to view it. As a business owner, you don't have 75 mouths to feed. Those 75 people have your mouth to feed. Because, again, you are profiting from the hours of their lives that they're giving up to make this whole system work. Every time they come into work, every single day that those 75 employees come to TYT Studios or Donald Trump's whatever, they're giving you 8 hours of their life that could have gone to their family that they will never see again. And they are earning money, bringing in money into the company, which you are then siphoning off of their labor. Now, don't get me wrong, that's how companies work. That's fine with me. I'm okay with managers existing, business owners existing, and everything else. But don't frame it like you are feeding 75 mouths. It's the other way around. 75 mouths are feeding you. Trump did not provide jobs and opportunities. Those jobs and opportunities provided for Donald Trump. Number 4, have faith. At a young age, Donald Trump learned from a famous New York church leader named Norman Vincent Peale. Oh my God, you already talked about him earlier in the damn book. That anything was possible. Peale preached that with God's help, you could believe in yourself more, conquer fear, and overcome any obstacles. 5, stay optimistic. Donald Trump has always looked at how good things could be and didn't worry about bad things that might happen. Yeah, that's actually good advice. You should definitely do that. This optimism not only helped him begin and build his career, it also helped him through the life challenges ahead in both business and as president. Okay, now this is the end. You can be successful like Donald Trump too. No, not unless you also have a filthy rich parent who's passing down his vast fortune to you. If that's the case, you can absolutely be successful like Donald Trump. Problem is, we do not live in a meritocracy. We just don't. The people at the top are not the best qualified, the smartest, or the most deserving by any stretch of the imagination. I would love it if those people rose to the top. They don't. You know who rises to the top in the system that we're in right now? Weasels. Scumbags. You know how Andrew Tate got rich? There's a lot in between. It's a lot more complicated than this, but basically by prostituting his girlfriends. He got a girlfriend and started selling her body, and then got another girlfriend and started selling hers. Well, yeah, I could be rich tomorrow if I did that too, obviously, but that's wrong. That's morally wrong. The scumbags in these types of systems always rise to the top. Martin Shkreli, remember that dude who raised the price of HIV medication 800 times what it was or something? Also bought the rights to insulin and raised the price of that forever ago. He got rich by stealing people's patents and stuff like that. If you're a scumbag, you can make it to the moon. That is who rises to the top in this situation, in this environment. Scumbags that are willing to step on people's faces to get to where they want to go. So your success right here, you can be successful. It's not linked to hard work in any way. I worked my nuts off at Burger King, and it did not get me to a skyscraper in Manhattan. Maybe you won't be the president, but Donald Trump's path to success is one that you can follow as long as you have the grit, determination, drive, optimism, and faith. No. Of his work, Trump wrote, "It never stops, and it wouldn't have it. It never stops, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Give back to our country." Even back in 1987, Donald Trump was very much the man he is today, someone who sees the importance of America in the world and the responsibility to help those less fortunate. He also learned from his education and life that America's strength and independence was impossible without economic independence and maximum opportunity. This is all pure, unadulterated propaganda based on nonsense that Trump was spouting off at some point in recent history. Like, why are you even saying any of this? It doesn't make any sense in our current political climate. It only made sense when this was written. Trump is the product of his childhood and the lessons he learned. Well, no fucking really? He's a product of his childhood? Knock me over with a feather. First I'm hearing of it. Is that how things work? People are product of childhoods? Product of his childhood and the lessons he learned, and his life can teach many positive traits and approaches needed for success. Trump also learned from his father's business obsessions not to put so much time into work that he couldn't spend quality time with his friends and kids. In fact, Trump's employees, friends, and associates say he's happy to take calls for advice, and once he's started a family, he happily let his kids run around his office playing and having a blast, even while on business calls. This is a fucking joke, dude. This is a wild piece of propaganda. And again, I wish that they had picked somebody other than these, what I can only assume are AI-generated Aryan boys. I mean, the cover to this is just top tier. Anyway, tell me what you think about it in the comments. That is wild, man. Oh, yeah, and then there's this one. We're not going to cover it right now, but then there's this one, Guide to Leadership, Kid's Guide to Leadership. Leadership is a skill. That's true, it is. George Washington. Don't you love how these people, deify Martin Luther King Jr. and just completely ignore the fact that the dude was a socialist. That's like one of his defining qualities. Anyway, I don't know if... I'm pretty sure that this is the original Kids Guide. It's just like really odd that it had a different cover. I went to thekidsguide.com, but this is freetrumpguide.com. Wait, did I get bamboozled when I was trying to... No, it's the Kids Guide, yeah. I didn't get this book, though. I ordered it, and I did not get this one. I spent, like, tons of money to get a bunch of these stupid little books. Yeah, why did they give me a different version? It's like the wish.com version that I got. And it was from this website? I got the right thing. They're just sending out, like, the wrong fucking product? That doesn't surprise me. I was looking for the ads. Is this the one?
Hello, this is Mike Huckabee. President Trump said he wants to take back the White House and teach our kids to love our country. That's why my team created a Kids Guide to President Trump. It'll teach your kids all about President Trump's accomplishments and his vision for America. And right now, I want to give it to you for free as part of this free gift bundle.
To order your free Kids Guide to President...
It's not actually free. They tell you just have to pay shipping and handling. So you go there, and you pay shipping and handling for like $10 or something, which this thing isn't even worth that much money. So it's free, quote unquote, but you're paying for it anyway. And actually what you're paying for is a subscription service. You're paying money that will be billed every month, and it's impossible to cancel. I used a virtual card when I ordered. So it's just, it's destroyed after that transaction. They can't charge me again. That's the scam. And they have a bunch of different ones. So, you know what? I was like, I'll pay the shipping and handling. Why not? And I'll order a bunch more. I ordered like 5 or 6 of them, I think. And it was pretty expensive. I think it was like $100, or maybe not quite that much, but many, many bucks. Trust me on that one. Anyway, Jesus, dude, what a scam. Absolute scam.